everyone. Welcome to Family in Focus. This is the brand new radio show here on PHLV Radio. So excited to be hosting this show, this very first show called Family in Focus. If you're just tuning in, you've never heard this show before. This is just starting off today, so you're kicking it off with us. And this is a show presented by the Asian Community Development Council, or ACDC. This is a show that's going to be on every Monday at noon Pacific time. So definitely tune in to PHLV Radio and all of their other live outlets as well. So excited to be here. So excited to be sharing the story about the Asian Community Development Council. If you've never heard this agency before, it's a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization launched in Las Vegas back in 2015. So it's been in existence for about 5 years now. And its mission is to educate, empower, and connect the Asian and Pacific Islander community in Nevada and beyond. And they offer a wide range of services for the community completely free of charge. We're talking things like healthcare education, citizenship application assistance, college readiness programs, and also translation services. So we're going to be talking more about that today, introduce you to the people behind ACDC. And this show, by the way, Family in Focus, just want to talk a little bit about the theme. They'll feature both ACDC staff and volunteers, as well as experts from across Nevada to talk on a variety of topics. But the main goal here is to reach the community, especially the AAPI community, including, of course, the Filipino community, and the topics and issues that affect our everyday lives. And we're going to do some in-language content as well. So we're going to do some in Tagalog. We're going to have some people, actually one of our experts today is going to be speaking in Tagalog. So you're going to be listening in for that. So let's get to our first show today. Let me introduce you to our special guest. Our first guest of the day is Vida Lin, and Vida is the president and founder of ACDC. Hi, Vida. How are you?
Hello. How are you? Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. She's joining us live from home, and also Vice Solano, who is the director of family services from ACDC, and she's joining us live from her home studio as well. As you know, this is the age of COVID-19. We're all in different places, but we're all here together, and so excited to be presenting this show, Family in Focus, for the very first time. So thank you so much for joining us, and for PHLV Radio for giving us this platform to share our story with you. So for this very first show, I just wanted to talk about the history of ACDC for a little bit. Again, as I said in the beginning, this organization started in Las Vegas, started about 5 years ago. And actually a little bit about me, I'm hosting the show right now, but in my former life, I was a news anchor and reporter for many years. And one of the markets I worked in was right here in Las Vegas. I worked at Channel 8, and I actually interviewed Vida, who is the founder and president of ACDC now, but she actually was, just a community leader for a long time. And Vida, you saw a need for the Asian community, an AAPI community. We need more services. We need more connection, right? And that was the reason you started ACDC about 5 years ago now.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so the Asian Community Development Council started about 5 years ago because I moved to Las Vegas. I've been here over 25 years. And I know when I first moved to Las Vegas, there was no place for our community to get help or services. And for a long time, I was really involved with the community and I understood the issues that we had. So it took me a long time, but finally we opened our ACDC, our nonprofit, and we're here to help and serve our community. But it's a long time coming. We do need a place that our community go to get help and information.
Yeah. And, I remember when I was a reporter back in the days, I used to interview you right when you were thinking of starting this organization. I kind of full circle what your goal was, your mission was. And tell me about this. You've been in this Las Vegas Valley for many years. What do you see as the big challenge before? Was there not enough connection between the different communities, and that's why you wanted to start this?
Sure. I think the biggest challenge we have in our Asian community is language. We don't speak one language where we can all communicate. We speak different languages and different culture, right? Just to think about, there's about 40 main Asian languages that we have, right? Like there's Chinese, Filipino, even the dialects in the Filipino, all the Chinese language is multiple, right? And the Korean and so forth. But our community has grown. I've been here in 2000 and when I moved in 1995, 94, 95, that time area, there was only a very small percentage. In the 2000 census, they only showed that we only had like maybe 4% Asian in Nevada, right? And in 2010, think about 2010, we're at double digit. We're almost 11% in the Asian population. We're one of the fastest growing. So the service that we offer is really needed in our community because language is one of the things that can bring our community together and educate them what is available for them.
So what are some of the services? I mentioned a little bit at the top of the show, but talk to me about what ACDC offers to the community. And what's really great, and maybe a lot of people don't know this about ACDC, is that most of these services that you're offering to the community is completely free of charge, right?
Correct. So some of the service that we offer, like in the beginning, we started with educating our community, how important for us, for our communities to vote. I think a lot of time we're not at the table because we don't get involved. So a lot of the elected official will say to us like, well, if you need this help or you need this support, why you guys don't get involved? So one of our mission in the beginning was to educate our community about how important civil engagement is for them, how important their voices are, right? Voting is one of the ways they can bring their voices out. So that's how we got started. But that whole educational piece, why they should get involved, and information like that was really important in the beginning. Eventually, we added other services. One of the services we know in our community we need is the healthcare, right? I always explain to people, when you get sick, what do? We can't speak the language, right? So the healthcare and the education on that part is also important, not to mention other services we have. So we noticed when we were doing voter registration, a lot of people have been in the US for a long time, but never became citizen because either they don't understand how to do the process or the paperwork or how expensive it gets. And that's why the immigration for naturalization is one of the services that we offer, that we love to do, that we want to make sure we help them become a citizen. So.
Yeah, and talking about healthcare, we're going to bring Vice in a little bit. But first of all, for people who don't know, Vice, actually, Vida, talk to us about where ACDC is at the moment, because I know you moved the main service to another office where people are coming now to get their services. And also right now we're doing by appointments only because of COVID-19, correct?
Exactly. So we understood that we had to be in the heart of the community. So we opened an office in Shanghai Plaza in it's about a year and a half already. I can't remember. Time has been going by so fast, especially with this whole pandemic. I don't think anybody can figure where we are now, what month or what day, right? So the Shanghai Plaza, which Vice runs the family service, is very important for us to be there. And we have actually about 3 spaces in the Shanghai Plaza to make sure we can do direct services. Another thing I want to make sure that we mention that we're constantly do things like the youth programs, like the high school college readiness boot camp, or we do the whole graduation for the Asian API student that's graduating from college. We have a job fair for them. So we do a lot with our youth because we know they're our future, and we need to educate and make sure that they are there with us to bring them up. But when it comes to family services, I'm going to have Vice go into more detail of the service that we have.
Yeah, we're showing some of the pictures of the different programs, and I encourage people who are listening or watching us right now to go to acdcenvy.org. That is the website for ACDC. So you can find more about the services, how to get in touch with ACDC. And one of the people that people reach out to, especially right now with COVID-19 being such a big story, people losing their jobs or their healthcare or their health insurance, they're really concerned about that aspect for their families, right? So we're going to do a focus in on that, on healthcare services that ACDC offers. And this is where I'm going to bring Vice Solano. Again, she's the Director of Family Services for ACDC. So first of all, welcome, Vice. And I know you speak Tagalog. Do you want to say a little hello to our Filipino listeners and viewers right now?
Yeah, thank you so much, Patranya. Hi, good afternoon. I am Edelweiss Solano. I am the Director of Family Services and I oversee several programs here at ACDC. So magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako si Edelweiss Solano. Ako ang Director ng Family Services at nangangasiwa ako ng maraming mga programa dito sa ACDC. Isa na dito ang Health Navigator program kung saan kami ay tumutulong sa ating komunidad na makahanap ang mga individual ng health insurance enrollment assistance through the Silver State Health Insurance Exchange marketplace, which is the Nevada Health Link.
That's right. And and that's great, because that's what I love about, representing and working with ACDC is that you represent so many languages, and we're seeing some pictures from the different events that you go out in there in the community. Of course, right now with COVID-19, that is very limiting. We aren't allowed to kind of go out there, but we're getting people to come into our offices by appointments to make it as safe for our staff and also for our guests as possible. So Vice, for people who may be interested in talking with ACDC, if they've been affected by COVID-19 especially, what are some of the concerns and questions that you're getting from the community when it comes to that and healthcare?
Well, basically, the biggest challenge for our community is the limited English proficiency of some of our communities. So we help them through different languages, such as we have state licensed navigators who speak in Tagalog, Vietnamese. Even we can ask help from one of our staff or volunteers to speak in Korean or Japanese. And even though we are in a COVID-19 pandemic right now, and then we do by appointments, but you can reach out to us, and then we can quickly help you with enrolling in health insurance plans.
And I would think, right now, people either lost their jobs or they lost their health insurance. So what can you do specifically? Can you help direct people to get healthcare another way if they lost it through the employment, right?
Yes, we are able to help them. We just need to assess their eligibility based on, of course, their family size and their basic and medical needs and budget needs as well. And then you just need to contact our health navigators or set an appointment with any of our staff just to be able to check your eligibility for a qualified health plan under the Nevada Health Link marketplace.
Yeah, and it's such a tough situation for so many people. I know a lot of people are listening to this radio show from the Filipino community, but you get audience from all over the country and around the world. And this is, no one is immune, right, when it comes to COVID-19. And that's kind of the big concern that ACDC has been kind of listening in. And healthcare is one of the services. And Vida, I want to bring you back in because we've been talking about getting enough kind of funding coming into our community. And the big story this year, of course, is the year of the US Census, right? The last time we did it was back in 2010. This only happens every 10 years. Still a lot of fears and concerns, not just in the Asian American community, but many minority communities, that they don't want to give this information when it comes to the census. And it's so important. And ACDC has been really getting out the message that the census and filling out the census is so key. Can you talk a little bit about that and just kind of address that of why this is so important to fill out your census, and what has ACDC been doing to get the word out?
Thank you for bringing that up. I am a true believer of the census. I can tell you, without the census, we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't exist without the census. When they know that our community is over 250,000 at the 2010 census, right? Can you imagine what our number is now? And everybody knows, I've been here for 25 or 26 years, but you even see Chinatown or the Asian town area, how business has grown in that community, right? When it comes to food or grocery stores or whatever you need, we are a growing community. But without our community filling out the census, we don't know you exist, right? And it comes every 10 years. We're talking about estimate of $2,000 per person. It's like $20,000 per person for the 10 years, then come to our community, help us fix the roads for the school, because we always talk about the overcrowding of schools. We always talk about the hospital and so forth, especially with this pandemic. With this pandemic, we couldn't get funding right away for our state for the testing, right? We couldn't get masks or get certain safety equipments to our community because our numbers when we filled out the last census wasn't there. So I explained to you, the census is so easy. They don't ask for your social security. They don't ask for any really your driver's license, nothing. All they ask is how many people live in the household, they ask your age, your race, what language you like to speak, and so forth. So it's very simple. It takes less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes for 10 years that can change everyone. And you don't count your child, or you don't count your brother or sister that's living with you right now temporarily. That person is not counted. We won't get that funding. So the census is really important. We're here to help make sure that they understand it is safe. It is locked up for 74 years. It is only used for the census to get data to know what money or funding we need for our community. So please make sure that everybody fill out the census. It's really important.
Yeah, this is really urgent right now, Vida, because the deadline to fill out the census is coming up the end of this month. So you don't have a long time. You haven't filled it out yet. You'll want to go to the website 2020census.gov, right? That's where you go to fill out your census. And as Vida said, it takes less than 10 minutes. You don't have to give out the most personal information. They don't care really. They just want to know how many people live and work in the state of Nevada. And that's how we can get the funding we need from the federal government for the next 10 years. So if you plan to live here in Nevada for a while, this is going to affect you and your family. As you said, the roadways, the schools, the public hospitals, all those funding that comes into our state, the census will play a big part. So ACDC has really done well in terms of pushing out social media videos, messaging to help, especially with the Asian American community. We're growing so fast here in the state of Nevada that it's going to affect us in many, many ways. So Vice, I know you've been working with different organizations. You've been getting out there, and I think we may have some pictures too of you as the healthcare navigators getting out to local hospitals and clinics, right? To give out these equipment and food and like lunch and stuff like that. So talk to us about those efforts and what you're doing out in the community.
Yes. So in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, ACDC created a relief program in which we provide help to our healthcare professionals, essential workers, and even unemployed individuals through our meal distribution in partnership with NAFA, which is the National Federation of Filipino American Association, even the Philippine Nurses Association of Nevada, and we even partnered with Cavite Association of Nevada for our Rice and Dry Goods Foundation, together with the Laotian American National Alliance and even the Thai Cultural Foundation in providing basic protection kits. So we went out there, we went to hospitals and medical centers, we went to supermarkets to provide basic protection kits, which consist of masks, hand sanitizers, and then, so we've been helping a lot of our communities out there.
And Vida, this is be good to see, even though we're impacted by COVID-19, you can see in the pictures all the people wearing masks, we're trying to still be safe, but we want to make sure the community knows about us and things that we're doing and how we're helping all these community groups as well.
Yes, correct. So Vice runs a great program in trying to get the protective gear out to our community. But one thing I also want to mention, being in Las Vegas, one of the things I know is that it was really hard to get our community together. When we have events or when we have things that's going on, how do we get the message out? So what we did the last couple of years, we host what we call the Asian Night Market, where food is one of the common denominator that brings our community together, because everybody loves different food, especially in the Asian culture, because there's so many different types of food, right? So the Asian Night Market, when we first started in 2018, it was a small event in the parking lot of the San Martin Hospital, going out there where people can set up the food and so forth, and bring in local vendors and local businesses, right, to show the way, right? And the first time we had it, it was so busy, it was crowded. We couldn't even walk. I had to run around just get to the stage and coming back, right? But that was a time that we can tell our community, say, hey, in 2018, please register, we are here to help you register to vote, but also vote, because the local election makes a difference. Those are things that will affect us in our community, right? So bringing that Asian Night Market was really fun. But what we didn't know, and when we did this again in 2019, we then closed 6 blocks, fenced it so it's easier for people to get in and out, and had more vendors and so forth. And even that, it took them 45 minutes for people to get in and get into the line. So that's when we know that when we did the Asian night market, it was bringing a sense of community, bringing our community together to enjoy food, to enjoy the local vendors, but also to communicate what is going on in Las Vegas or in Nevada, right? So instead of this year, of course, with the whole pandemic, we won't be able to do that. But what we're going to be doing is what we call the Asian Restaurant Week. So we're going to feature some of the vendors that was at the Asian night market, and they're going to do a specialty during that week and then we have, when you guys enroll, we will be giving out these drawstring bags that says Asian night market in the year, and to do the census in the year of the rat, just to make sure we get it covered.
Yeah.
But even with the pandemic, I know we're going through a lot where people have to stay home in the fear that they have. But what I really want to make sure we get this message out is like, we will get through this together. We just have to be mindful. Wearing the protective gear is not only protecting yourself, but other people. This is health related, right? So everybody should come together and support each other, help each other. And that's why it's so important when we have Vice going out to give out the masks and giving out safety gears, getting our local vendors to provide with a bento box and food out to the community, was to tell them, we're here. We're going to survive this. We're going to do fine. And we need to be mindful and work together. During the whole COVID-19, they came to us and said, can you do the translation in the different languages? When we talk about what are essential workers, so we have to translate that within 48 hours. Or when the school started, how important, not for the kids, not only to register, but to get the Chromebooks so they can do the virtual education at home. But we were there to help translate, working with the community to make sure we get the word out, because it is so important. Having us today at this radio station, we thank you so much, is to get the community out of the service that we have, because we want to make sure we help each other.
And I'm glad you brought up Asian Night Market, because as you said, it was canceled this fall because of COVID-19, because we do care about the community's health and well-being. But as you said, we're doing Asian Restaurant Week for the first time. And I want to get the word out there, and I'll get you guys to talk a little bit about this. But it's from September 23rd through 30th. So that's coming up soon. We're going to have a special website, Asian Restaurant Week, lv.com. So go there for more information. But as Vida said, we want to get all these vendors who have supported us in the past with Asian Night Market and put them in this restaurant week and get people to go to all these restaurants. And I actually want to feature, we have a video of one of the restaurants that's taking part. It's called Truffles and Bacon. If you're Filipino and if you love ube and Filipino food, you probably have been to this place, because they're just amazing food and they're one of the vendors. And I just want to run their video right now of what we're doing, the word we're getting out about Asian Restaurant Week.
Hi, I'm Magnolia Magat, the owner of Truffles and Bacon Cafe. It's on Eastern Avenue, or on the southeast part of the city. It's American cuisine with a little bit of Filipino twist to it. So one of the most popular items, which used to be part of our secret menu, was the ube French toast. It's very decadent. It has the ube, and then it has a ube cream cheese, and then we put coconut strings, which is makapuno in Tagalog, and then we top it off with condensed milk. So aside from that, we also make our own longanisa patty. The longanisa is like a chorizo. For the Filipinos, a little bit sweeter. It has a garlicky flavor. It has a little bit of spice and a little bit of sweetness. It's called Love Me Long Time Longanisa Melt. It's almost like having grilled cheese with longanisa. You put asadero cheese in it, and then you put it in a melt. It melts in your mouth. Oh my God, the first time it was so funny because none of them expected a big turnout. So everybody was saying, oh, we're anticipating maybe 800 people to come in. I think 8,000 people showed up. And you know, Asians can really eat. And it's like the word of mouth and the show of support to the Asian community was so overwhelming. It was so beautiful. The food truck, Son of a Pig, which was the vehicle that we used to join the night market. It brought in clients for Truffles and Bacon. You're proud to be part of the Asian community. And it was like heartwarming to see a lot of people wanting to support the Asian community. We need to register and we need to be part of voting. You think that you're not part of it, but you are. Like that one small voice is part of the whole thing. And if there are a million small voices getting together, that's a million votes. So, and that counts. Even if you think that it doesn't count, it really does.
All right. So if that doesn't make you hungry right now, I don't know what will, because Vice, Vida, we all have been to Truffles and Bacon, and I think we can attest how delicious the food is, right, Vida? You've been there and you've tried the food.
I want to go there right now.
It was so delicious. Those ube French toasts are amazing. If you guys have not tried that, and that longanisa sandwich, by the way, I'm just doing a big promotion for Truffles and Bacon right now because they're so great. But the main thing is we're doing these videos, reaching out to vendors and getting them to help us get the word about filling out the census and voter registration. And as she said, the reason that I think the Asian night market was so successful, Vida, because it brings people together. First of all these different AAPI groups that have maybe never hung out with each other before, these businesses that have never worked together before, they come together because food brought them together. Vida, you know the secret that food brings all of us Asian people together.
Always bring people together. That's the mom in me. Like, did you eat? Do you have food? Right? Mm-hmm. So it's very important, and that is one of the things that brings people together. It really is.
Yeah, so we're so excited. Yeah, that Asian Restaurant Week is going to replace Asian Night Market this year, but we're hopeful that next year things will be a much better place for our world and we can bring Asian Night Market back again. So again, check out our website, asianrestaurantweeklv.com, for more information. That's starting on 23rd. I want to get back to Vice really quick. Talking about food now, I'm all distracted, but we want to talk about all the other services that we offer. And one of the new things this year, and I think a lot of people want to pay attention to this, ACDC is helping with this direct cash assistance program. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because we want to get the word out about that as well.
Yes, with the direct cash assistance program, we are offering support to households with a one-time first come and first serve basis cash assistance of $300 per household because we have limited funding. So if you have or you are in need of help and you are not able to receive any federal assistance, please call us at 702-738 0800 and reach out to us if you need help. Of course, as long as you're not receiving, again, government support such as Medicaid or SNAP, even temporary assistance for needy families and unemployment insurance assistance, please call us at the number I just provided you. And you can also go to the link http bit.ly /ACDCNV702 to fill out the eligibility application form, and we will call you.
Yeah, and again, you know that Vice speaks Tagalog and we speak different languages. So reach out to us if you have family or friends who could use this money, this direct cash assistance. And of course, the money runs out when it does. So get the word out now to your family and friends if they're impacted and not getting federal help. And Vida, you know, you've been just hearing from the community, people from all different groups of how they're impacted by COVID-19. And I'm sure that really impacts you because you've lived here for a long time. You've seen kind of Las Vegas goes up and down, but especially Asian American community, you know, people think we're not as impacted as other groups, but we are seeing similar challenges as other people in the community, right?
Exactly. So we're always like the model minority. We always money, but it's not true. Our community needs the support. We're just quiet. And I think that's one of our culture that we were taught to be, stay under the radar, be quiet and don't cause rape. But let me tell you, we need to speak up. It is our time. It's time for us to know that we exist and speak up. Your voice, when you fill out the census, you are saying that you exist, right? And that if you when you register to vote, you exist. Every person counts. Your voice is so important. And I think that's why ACDC is here. to bring more services that we can do to help our community, and that we know that you're important, and that we know we want to make sure that we're always at the table now. And we have a great team. I have a great board that helps me. I have a great staff that's incredible in doing this. And the community as a whole, all the partnership with the different community, that's what we can get our work done. And we can do this. And I just very passionate. I wake up every day pinching myself, how did I get to do this, right? And how did I get these great people around me to help me? So it makes my life really, that I moved to Las Vegas because I wanted to help. That it took me a long time, but I'm finally here helping others and other coming together. And I think being here for a long time, meeting with the community made the difference. So when we started ACDC, we can move fast because we know what's needed, who we need to talk to. So I want to again thank you for this radio station. It's really important that we're here, that we're part of it, and thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah, and if it's just joining us for the first time, this is the brand new show on PHLV Radio. It's called Family in Focus. It's presented by the Asian Community Development Council, or ACDC, based in Las Vegas. But we work with people throughout the state. We do have an office up in Reno as well. So we touch communities up in Northern Nevada and also here in Southern Nevada. So it's a statewide organization, and we reach out to all the AAPI communities here. And we want to help. You know, that's the goal of ACDC. We want to educate, empower, and connect AAPI communities. And since we're here on PHLV Radio, Vice, do you want to say just kind of a recap in Tagalog for all the people listening and what they can expect from this show moving forward?
Yeah, sure, Patranya. So, sa aking mga kababayan, kung kailangan nyo ng tulong sa health insurance, enrollment, citizenship assistance, even yung pagboboto, at pag-fill out ng census, mag-reach out lang po kayo sa amin at kami tutulungan namin kayo upang magawa itong lahat. At ang pinaka-importante ay ang fill out ng census, voter registration, and pag na magkaroon kayo ng health insurance, kasi importante po na maging cover tayo ngayong pandemic. So tawagan nyo lang po ang aming mga numero at ang bisitahin ng aming website acdcnv.org at i-follow nyo kami sa aming mga social media sa Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at ngayon po sa PHLV Radio. At maraming salamat at thank you, Patranya.
All right, thank you. And Vida, any last word from you? I know we really want to push out census, people to fill them out by September 30th. Also voter registration. We want people to register to vote by the deadline so that they can make their voices heard come November.
So my last word is get involved, get connected, make your voice heard. And I don't have another 10 years to do this. So please, everybody, make sure you fill out the census for the 2020 census. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Vida. You've done such great work in the community. And thank you to PHLV Radio for giving us this platform here for the show, Family in Focus. If you want to find more information about ACDC, again, the website is acdcnv.org. You can also find ACDC on Facebook, on Instagram. Please like and share our pages. Again, the office is located at Shanghai Plaza in Las Vegas, Chinatown. And right now they're open for appointments only. Again, Family in Focus is a brand new show on this radio, and you can find them on other live outlets as well. And we're going to be back every Monday at noon for more insightful information, entertaining information, probably more food videos, right? Because we love food so much. Bring that to you and get everybody hungry. I mean, it's the show's at noon. We got to show food and we got to make this entertaining and as delicious as possible. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Vida. Thank you, Vice, for joining us on this show. And we'll see you again next Monday.